Now, how about them damn Celtics?
All right, we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Jack is off this week, so I'm here with Nick NBA. Always a privilege. Nick, hello.
What's good, Sam? How you doing?
Lot good. Celtics been good lately. They've won a lot of their recent games. They did lose to the Blazers on Sunday, but they're back. We'll talk a little bit about what we're looking for going into the new year, talk a little bit about the Jaylen MVP possibility. We'll go through, actually, I don't know if we have any emails today. We'll go around the NBA and check the standings, and we'll do the rat list and get out of here. Should be a fun show. Stick around through all of it. We're here every single day with new stuff. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps of the morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. But yes, we're recording on December 31st. Usually Jack starts the show by saying what day it is. I just never do that because I'm too stupid to remember. But it is New Year's Eve. You're listening to this on New Year's Day, so Happy New Year to you. It's 2026, and it makes a lot of sense to talk about what we would like to see from the Celtics in the new year. Lots going on, lots of unexpected developments, I would say, over the last couple of months. And so, Nick, we can go back and forth. I'll let you start, unless you want me to start. Of things we can do like a three pick draft, and we can just go back and forth. We don't have to do snake of things we'd like to see in the new year. But yeah, I'll let you go first.
I low-key wanted to hear your voice first, but it's fine.
We could do it if you want.
No, that's what I'm saying. I low-key want Tatum to come back, bro.
Good answer.
I don't think I've ever like said this. Like, yeah, I can't. Like, let's get Tatum in here now. Like, let's just do it. But as I continue to see this team play, and I just look at the games that they're losing. How many games have the Celtics lost where they had no chance? Like, it was the Rockets game.
Probably that first Knicks game. Jack would disagree with me on that, but I just felt like they were out of it once they fell behind.
Sure. The first Knicks game, definitely the Rockets game where we played in a TD Garden.
What a night that was.
Yes. But if you look at it, every other game, like, we're there. And you know what can help? A 6'10" guy that does everything. So obviously the first priority is him coming back completely healthy. Like, that is the number one thing. That's always been the top thing is Tatum coming back? Whenever he's ready, he's gonna come back, right? That's been what they've always told us, and I think that should stick as the most important thing, of course. But when I look at this team and I look at this Eastern Conference, there might not be another chance like this one, where we thought coming in that it was Cavs and Knicks, right? The Pistons were outsiders. Milwaukee might have an outside chance, but it's literally just, as of right now, Pistons and the Knicks. If I have Jason Tatum, of course, I don't expect Tatum to be Tatum, especially not early like this year, because like if he comes back after All-Star break, I'm not expecting Tatum to be 27, 9, and 6 Tatum. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. But I think not any amount, but like I think 70% of Tatum does more to the opposing team. Like that, just having Tatum on the floor for a playoff series is like, oh shit, they have to worry about that guy too. So I don't know how. I'm very interested to see how him integrate into this team will look with, Jaylen doing a great job of taking the reins as the top option this year. I want to see how that works, but I like, as the season has progressed, and I see that the Celtics can really still play with every team in this league, but we haven't seen them against OKC, Denver. But like how the Celtics look to be competitive against every team in this league, I've increasingly wanted Tatum to come back more. So that's my first one.
Yeah, I mean, the Tatum return stuff is interesting because you don't know exactly what to expect from him when he comes back. But if you even think about what the floor would be, the floor is probably a more consistent Jordan Walsh. Like you probably have somebody at the same size, a little bit stronger, probably more athletic than Walsh is, to hit the glass and defend and give you spot offense, which, like, saying that about Jason Tatum sounds crazy, but like I'm being very generous and conservative with my floor. Like, if he comes back, I feel like everyone should kind of take the same approach. You don't want to put too many expectations out there. You want to protect yourself from getting hurt if he's not able to deliver immediately at the level that you're expecting, because the reality of the situation is that's probably just not going to happen. Does that mean the floor is going to be that low? No. He could have moments where he's closer to Derek White's level, where he's scoring on a somewhat consistent basis. Maybe like every other game, he has a good game, or, something of that matter, and still producing on the marginal parts of the game too. But immediately, you're not going to get MVP level Tatum. You're just not. And that's fine because Jaylen has been playing so well, as you said. I did have somebody ask me today about a Tatum return, when it's going to happen, if the team's play has impacted that anymore. And the answer is probably no. But at the same time, if they were awful, I think the chances would be slimmer. With them playing this well, I think it feels like a foregone conclusion that he's going to come back at some point. I think the reasoning is always going to be him being 110% ready to go. There will be no change to that. But there's no reason to hold him out if things are going well versus if they were going poorly. Kind of just being like, okay, we're going to lose games to lose them. We don't need to put Tatum back out there. We'll let him get the entire summer to get his stuff right. And then it'll be good to go in the 26-27 season. But you mentioned it. They're 20-12 heading into 2026. Kind of cool to think about adding him to this equation because they've been great without him. So yeah, the Tatum return, good pick. Don't know how I didn't think of that. Like, if I picked first, that would have not been my pick. I guess somewhat on the same lines. My first pick will be good health. I would like to see the Celtics. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I also think the floor is like insane gravity. So like because I don't think
they're scared of him.
I don't think opposing players care that he, like, of course they care that he just came back, but they're not going to defend him like he just came back. Like the loading up on Jaylen that's been happening. You want to do that while Tatum's on the court? Whoop-de-doo. You want to switch it and do it to Tatum while Brown's on the court? Like, it doesn't really matter. So I think, yes, the floor is like you're getting less peskier defense than Walsh, but like you're getting, like, again, a guy who's taller, who's stronger, is a better offensive player who the defenses respect more, and I think that means a lot. But yes, go ahead.
It's a great point, actually, because the NBA is the NBA. Just about everybody who's on the floor, regardless of who they are, can play. And so, with that being said, you don't have to worry. I mean, you have to worry about Jason Tatum because you know he has it in him. You know that he's somebody who's a threat every time he's there. He can score on multiple levels, even if they play him in a lower usage role, like as a catch and shoot guy. You still have to worry about him. You would have to worry about him if he was in the dunker spot. Like, yeah, really, really good observation by you. But yeah, health for me is the big thing. Celtics have been very fortunate outside of Tatum to have mostly everybody healthy for the majority of these games this season. Jaylen's missed a few, but that's seemingly planned. Feels like all of the illness scratches for him have been in opportune spots. I think they've won both of the games that he missed so far, and the supporting cast has been relatively healthy. Luka Garza got a concussion on opening night, missed the second game against New York. Nemias Queta missed a game. Outside of that, Walsh has gotten sick, but nobody has really had to miss an extended period of time, and I think that's done them a lot of justice, not only because, yes, it's an advantage to have everybody playing and everybody available as much as possible, but with this being a newer roster and filtering in all of the new faces and their skill sets, getting the extra minutes, the extra run to get some chemistry built has been a big factor in them starting this well and seemingly getting better as the year has gone on. Like, if you ask me, I feel like the December 30th Celtics were better than the November 15th Celtics. And that's not a hot take. They just are figuring out how to play together. You're seeing somebody like Anthony Simons get more well adjusted to his role. He seems more connected on defense. He's more willing to give the ball up. they're figuring out as a staff how to utilize him the best as somebody who has been the guy with the ball in his hands at all times in Portland. Now he's in Boston, has to come off the bench and kind of take table scraps in terms of offensive opportunities, but they're doing a good job of putting him in advantages when he actually gets the basketball. So minor things like that have factored into, getting these guys back up to speed and more up to speed. But like we've talked about it several times since the season started. If Jaylen's going to miss time, this team is going to struggle, like extended time in spots where they don't plan for him to miss games. Like if he picks up an injury, the Celtics are going to slowly, or maybe not so slowly, fall down the Eastern Conference standings. You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that, and it just hasn't happened yet. How I don't think they can sustain. Obviously, a team wouldn't be great if they lose their best. Well, the Celtics. Maybe I should stop talking about that. But if they were to lose Jaylen Brown, I would say I don't think they can sustain that because injuries happen every year. Everybody gets injured every year. Like it just happens, right? You're gonna get small injuries. Sometimes you have to miss 2 weeks, and unfortunately, larger injuries happen. But it just hasn't happened for the Celtics yet, and hopefully it never does. So yeah. Our next one. I want Joe to win Coach of the Year because I think he deserves it. And I remember when he got Coach of the Month or something like that, and he was like, "So it's dumb. Like I don't want it. It should be Staff of the Month. So I'll change it to let the Celtics get Staff of the Year. Like because the way they've taken in guys like that really haven't done much yet, like a Walsh, a Shaman, a Minot, a Garza, you know what I'm saying? And
Even
Nemi, who was a lot of questions coming into this season, and rightfully so, because we haven't seen him in the role that he's playing now. And just getting the most out of every single one of those guys. And nothing's coming out of the locker room after Josh hasn't played for 3 games. Nothing's coming out of it after Garza sat for 20 days. Nothing's came out when Jordan didn't play for like the first 6 games or so. Like there's no rift between the team when guys don't play. And I think Joe Mazzulla, for one, has a great relationship with all of those guys. And the guys have talked about how, hey, he's like just an amazing person, and he doesn't talk to everybody the same because he really gets to know people. And like Garza and I know that media day were saying they will run through a wall for Joe before. Like it's been 2 months. It's only been 2 months. So I'm just like, okay, if he's leaving that type of mark on people that early, then it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's real. So off the court stuff, like, helps with the on the court stuff for sure. Like he must be instilling confidence in these guys that, hey, the season is waves. I don't know if he said that, but this
I think I've heard that like coming out the cracks of the locker room doors every once in a while, like walking through the hallways of the Garden. Season is waves. Joe Mazzulla, parentheses, Nick NBA.
The season is waves, man. Just your time will come. Like you might not be playing now, you might not play tomorrow, you might not have played yesterday. Your time will come to impact this team, and they're ready. They're always ready. They always have the same amount of confidence when they were playing, right? So whenever Josh Minot comes back into the rotation, I don't know why he's not playing like even a second in these last 3 games, but like whenever he comes back, he's gonna play his ass off. And it's just Joe finds a way to motivate guys. Even in the what game was that? The Pacers game where the starting 5 was playing like ass.
Oh, just yanked him.
They weren't showing any effort. He yanked them, right? The bench, like the I know it's the Pacers, but we were literally down 20 in the 3rd quarter, like, and we came back with our bench. Like for him to trust those guys and for those guys to actually come through, and then like starters get benched and they're like, we kind of didn't like that, so let's go win. Good job, coach. Good job, coach. Like, and the Celtics have. Let me just make sure now. I haven't checked this in a while. The offense. I know the defense is like it was a pack like 15ish, but they have a top 5 offense. With like, if you were to just tell somebody at the beginning of this season that your top 3 offensive players are Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, you probably wouldn't expect that team to be a top 5 offense.
No, probably not.
You'll probably go to 10, 15-ish, right? They're not. They don't shoot that many free throws. They're 30th in a free throw rate, right? So you're getting the most out of the talent, and then the sets and the action that the Celtics run are really effective for this group. They don't turn it over. Like they're a very disciplined team on the offensive side of the ball, and I think everything, the philosophy, the mentality that Joe instills, is always going to drag down to this team.
Yeah, and I think this even stems like further beyond this season. I think he's going to get more credit this year because exactly what you just said. When your top 3 options are Jaylen, Derek, and Peyton, it hits a little harder than when it's Jason and Jaylen and Kristaps and Drew Holiday and then Derek White. You can kind of just pick any of the three of the 5 that night and probably get across the finish line. You have just such a surplus of talent. Now you're seeing the impact somebody like Joe can have on a team when he's willing to work and scheme and use his basketball imagination to squeeze every ounce drop of just hoops juice out of his players to get the most out of them. And it's something he's done in the years past. It's the reason why I think we talked about this last night, or maybe I'm misremembering, but like the championship season, Drew Holiday shows up in training camp. They didn't know they were going to have him. They had made the trade. Joe probably spent his entire summer trying to get his lick back after the Miami series, scheming how Kristaps was going to fit in alongside like Rob Williams, and they were still going to have Brogdon. And then all of a sudden, both of those players are gone, and now he has Drew Holiday. And they still hit the ground running. They never really wavered. Just like you said, there was nothing coming out the locker room this year when Minot's come out of the rotation or Luka Garza hasn't played for a month. There was really never any growing pains with that team, and everybody kind of bought in right away. And he was a big part of that. And now with a less talented roster, you're seeing how important good leadership is because the players do clearly believe in him, as you kind of pointed out. They trust when they don't get their minutes. There's a reason why. It's for the betterment of the team. Credit to Brad Stevens for bringing in the players who are willing to buy into that too, because even if it is for the betterment of the team and people know that, they're not always fine with that. But these guys seem to be, and they've appreciated their opportunities and made the most of them when they actually do come for them. And yeah, Joe definitely does deserve a lot of credit for that. And I think a lot of that goes into his mindset too, where anytime he gets a chance, and I say it all the time, he talks about the margins. And the Celtics this season have been the most careful team in the NBA. Nobody turns the ball over less than they do. They try and win the shot margin every single day. They know that their room for error is the window for error is slimmer than it has been since he took over the team. And yet they are giving themselves as wide of a window as possible by getting the most shot attempts they can. They try and outshoot their opponent every game, and it's done them a lot of justice this year. It's one of the reasons why they're off to the start that they are. And yeah, Joe deserves a ton of credit. I'm happy that the team is performing well this season with the changes because now people can't really go online and feel as good about it when they hit send on tweets that are like, Mazzulla's a bad coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. They have too many threes, which isn't even the case this year. He's been awesome. It's clear he's going to be around a while, and he was the right person to succeed Ime Udoka when all of that went down.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. And not to go on too much of the tangent, but the point about you, and you were saying like how, and like, yeah, bro, Joe has been thrusted into this role. Like the Ime stuff was like absolutely crazy. And they're like, all right, here's the coach. Like during like that shit happened, and players were at a media day, like we don't know what the hell's happening. Like he got like after media day is when he's the head coach. It's just like, oh, okay, guess I have to do this now. Like he's and then yeah, like you said with Drew, that stuff happened late. That stuff happened, of course, later than you would you would like to. You would love to have a player that you're acquiring like months before the season, so you can integrate him and all that stuff, right? And as you were saying, like we were game planning on how Rob and Porzingis would fit, and I was on Twitter. I had a whole compilation of Porzingis and Gafford like plays where they're playing together in DC, and like they're passing to each other, they're playing off each other, and I was like, look, if you can do it with Gafford, you can do it with Rob, and it's just never happened, but it's okay. But yeah, man, Joe's been super impressive throughout this whole thing. Of course has improved from his first time coaching, because that's what you do. You're supposed to get a better, and Joe's work ethic is insane. We should know that by now, and he's just learning, man. He's learning. He's had to learn on the fly, and I feel like he gets some cool points because of that too.
Oh yeah, I mean, infinite cool points. He's from Rhode Island. Very easy case to be made. Yeah. Next up on my list, this is like a broad wish list, but I would like to find out what the resolution of the Anthony Simons situation is going to be. Now, this can go.
Fuck you.
This can go one of two ways. They could either, and this is the obvious thing that literally has been coming out of everyone's mouth since he was traded here, reroute him, find a way to get below the first apron, maybe even the luxury tax, and perhaps bring back some sort of player that can help them in return. But it has not seemed like he has the value to earn that kind of return without the Celtics giving a ton of draft capital up in whatever deal it is. And then there's the other avenue where lately he's kind of been looking a little bit more comfortable as a member of the Celtics. And Missoula credited him big time after the win in Utah, credited his physicality. He shouted him out for guarding Keontae George, who was killing the Celtics. He had 37 points in that game last night. And Simons had some possessions on him that Missoula felt were good enough to bring up to the media after the game. And he says, look, if Anthony is able to give us this type of stuff every night, or at least on a regular basis, the ceiling for this team changes. And not to mention, on offense, he's starting to look like he fits a little bit better. At the beginning of the season, the ball would hit his hands, and the only other place it was hitting was the floor and then probably the rim, because it wasn't really hitting the net. He was struggling to create for himself, didn't really have that great of an offensive impact for this team. Now, I mean, you said it yesterday, 45% on catch and shoots. The coaching staff has clearly made it an emphasis to put him in situations where he's in a spot that he's comfortable, whether that be the catch and shoot or a dribble handoff or something where he already kind of has an advantage and he doesn't have to worry about blowing past the defender, where he can make reads as the ball handler going downhill. And also, it feels like his finishing ability is starting to catch up to what it was supposed to be when he got here. I remember you shared some of his advanced metrics as a scorer last year when the trade happened, and his finishing around the rim was like in the top percentile. Like he was really, really good at making sure that ball found the bottom of the hoop once he hit the paint. Now, as somebody who's coming off the bench for the Celtics, a team that is playing well, it feels like he's getting a feel for it, and maybe mentally he's able to buy in a little bit more because he's seeing that, oh, I don't have to do everything all the time for this team to be successful. Maybe what I do is give good offensive output in short bursts while giving my all on the defensive end. And if he's able to continue kind of growing in this way, there's no question that he can be a real asset to this team. And considering that Tatum's not back yet, we haven't heard any kind of timetable for his return. We assume it's coming. We don't know for sure. Having the additional scoring is something that can help this team in a high leverage situation too, because with Simons on the floor, it kind of goes hand in hand with what you said about the Tatum gravity. It's not 1-to-1. The gravity isn't the same. Simons is probably like the gravity of the moon rather than like Jupiter that has like a billion moons. But like the gravity, nonetheless, it still exists. You have to pay attention to him. He's someone who's averaged 20 plus points a game in this league. But if you do trade him, I'm curious to see what the return will be. I hope I'm kind of at the point where I kind of hope it isn't like just a salary dump. Like if you're getting rid of Simons, you have to get something worthwhile. On the Bill Simmons podcast that came out, I think today, he pitched Malik Monk as the guy that would come back. He would save $6 million after taking back probably somebody like Doug McDermott to make it so the Kings can actually take on Simon's salary in exchange for Monk. But if you did that, you would get a similar skill set back, somebody who's had experience coming off the bench, and you would still save your money, get below the first apron in that sense. I think that'd be fine, but you would probably have to go through a lot of the early growing pains that you already went through at Simons if you made a move like that, especially defensively. So that's something that I'm curious to see how it would unfold if it went down.
Yeah, I agree. That was going to be my third one too. Just like I want to see like the resolution or the like what is the end of this trade stuff, like with Simons, with even Hauser. I don't think Hauser's a real one. I don't think they would just dump Hauser or like trade Hauser unless it's in a deal for somebody that like is really, really helping us. I don't really see that. But yeah, the Simons thing, I did a trade candidate video like a couple days ago, and Monk was on there. I had him going to the Pistons, which I think is a perfect fit. But like, he's a better defender than Simons is for sure. But like yeah, it would be the same. And I think like Simons is a better like shooter. So like if you were to put Simons in the catch and shoot type of role that we are like, okay, he's really good at that thing, then you're like, okay, yeah, this works. But Monk really needs the ball in his hands more. And I think Monk is like a guy that does more with the ball in his hands, so that obviously can match. But yeah, it just I really want to see how this ends up because we're almost getting to that point. And I again, like you said, I think Simons is creeping towards somebody that is being impactful. You know what I'm saying? On the defensive side, if he's giving you that type of physicality that Joe likes, if he's taking the challenge more and he's able to impact on the offense without having the ball a lot, then maybe they like him enough. But I want to see what the end result is. So I don't mean to have the same point as you, but yeah, that's where I was going with mine.
Now, do you have like a preferred route in that? Like, would you rather see the trade or would you rather see him stay? I mean, I suppose that has to do with whatever the return would be, but knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what we get. I think whatever it is would determine like what I would rather do. If I would probably rather trade him because there's more. I think there are better outcomes than keeping him, but it just depends on what one of those outcomes is. I don't think Simon. I think Simons has exceeded my expectations of him, especially defensively. So I do want to give him credit there and say that like he's been able to actually buy in to that. And I think if we keep him, that'll only get better because he's going to be here. He's going to know what's required of him on that end of the floor. I think offensively he still has a leap to go, right? And he could be more impactful and effective. That also goes with the Celtics using him in the correct way. But yeah, I would probably lean to trading him. Just because I think there's more avenues where we get a player I like, or we do good financially for the future, than just keeping them. So of course it depends on who it is. I am to the point where he's been good enough to where I don't think just a pure salary dump I would be happy with that. But like at the end of the day, If that's what he's worth, that's what he's worth, unfortunately. But I would love if we could get like somebody cheaper. Somebody's probably not better than him, but that's cheaper. That's on like a contract that we don't really have to pay. That's on cheaper cash, and that can still kind of help this team. So maybe that's too much to ask for, but we will have to see.
Yeah, what's funny is I just can't stop thinking about, and this is something you bring up all the time, is when he got here, it was like, yeah, I've never done defensive drills before. Like never practiced
Never.
defensive playmaking. Like, of course, to start the season, his fit was weird on that end of the floor. He was still learning how to do it at an NBA level, and he was still training himself to be better at it. Um, I think I probably lean trade, but only because in the long term, I'm not convinced he's going to come back. Like, if you're Anthony Simons, do you come back on a mid-level exception? I don't feel like another team's going to pay him $30-ish million. Like, I think that ship has sailed. And then if you're the Celtics, do you want to spend your mid-level exception on Anthony Simons, or would you rather spend it on a big guy that can help strengthen your front court a little bit more, something that you've clearly kind of needed this season? And to me, that uncertainty is enough to let you want to control your own destiny, whether that be trading for somebody like Monk that's under contract, or, taking an avenue where you can prolong having the cap slot that you have while also perhaps getting underneath at least the first apron. So that's something I would keep an eye on. Muted.
New Year's resolution. Stop being muted.
Hey man, it happens. It's happened to me. Usually happens to me on live streams, I feel like.
Yeah, man. Just no. I think with us being so close to getting under the first apron, is definitely a possibility. Like when the Celtics traded Porzingis' contract for Georges Yang, like that was a big like cut into the cap. I didn't think we were gonna be able to shed 22 M's in one trade. Like that was crazy. And then we shed some money and years when we traded Drew for Simons. So if we could do those things, of course it was the off season, like it's easier to make the cap work, but like if we were able to do those things, I think like just getting like I think we have to shed 4 million to get under the first apron. I forgot the number. I haven't talked about this in a while, but if we just need that much to get under it, I think we can definitely do it and still be able to get somebody that's under contract that can help us.
Celtics are 4 million above the first apron. You nailed it on the head. All right, last thing. I would like to see, if you want to count that as your third as well, that's fine, because we both kind of went back and forth on it.
Okay, that's fine.
I would like to see one of Ugo, Baylor, Josh, Jordan emerge as the top guy. Like, going into a playoff series, I would like to feel good about whoever it is that wins the spot. I don't care which one. If I had to power rank them, I'd probably go Ugo, Jordan, Josh, and then Baylor, just because of age and contract control factors. But I don't really have a preference. I think they all do good things. I'm a big fan of Josh's. I think he's an exciting player, like his personality. But right now, you just kind of get good spurts from each of them for a couple weeks, and then the next guy steps up, which is great. But in a playoff situation, you can't really handle the waves as much. You don't have your life vest on. You don't have your floaty, no lifeguard on duty. You might drown if you don't have the ability to ride the waves. So going into April, even if Tatum's back, knowing that you can depend on one of those guys would be a nice plus to have. I don't know like what my confidence percentage in that happening is. It's probably pretty low. These guys are all very young. They don't have a ton of NBA experience. You're going to have growing pains along the way. Expecting them to be as consistent as a seasoned veteran would be in a playoff situation is pretty unfair. But you've seen that they all have it in there. They've all of them have showed you there's a reason why I'm here. I can start on this team. I can help win you basketball games. I just can only do it for like a week at a time. And in that last part, I would like to see get ironed out.
Yeah, that's super valid. Do you think guards will play in the playoffs?
The playoffs are an interesting situation for Garza because my immediate reaction is it depends on the matchup. If you're playing one of these bigger teams, or maybe even a smaller team that you feel like he can feast on the offensive glass and change games for you, I feel like the answer is yes. But I also feel like if another team figures out how to exploit him, similar to how the Celtics really, really went at Nurkic in the Jazz game, and also Garza was a little bit cooked in that game too. I don't want to completely exempt him from the criticism. That can be a really tough spot to have to try and swim through that, right? Like you're already fighting for everything. There's very little room for error in the playoffs. The intensity is higher. The nerves are greater. Some of these younger guys who have performed well for you could really take a dive. And if Garza is going to take your room for error away, the answer is no. But like the guy just sat for a month. Like I feel like I don't have enough sample size to truly know how to feel about him to this point. And I said it to you on the post game yesterday. I feel like he's solid in like 70% of his games. I don't often feel like he plays and I'm like, this guy sucks. Granted, we did do a podcast together that I made the thumbnail for with Simons and Garza on the thumbnail, and it said, what do they do? So that was one of the moments where I wasn't feeling great about the production. But in this recent week and a half or so, I feel like we should not see another extended period of time where he's not playing basketball.
I get that, yeah. It should be really matchup based, especially with Garza. But as far as like the wings, right? I really I don't want this over anybody, but I really want Shaman to hit a stride late like he did last season. Because like he projects to be the realest shooter out of them. Like I know every like Ugo, Walsh, Minot, and Shaman, I know they're all around 40% from three, but if you just go by like how they were projected when they come into this league and the players they project to be, Shaman is supposed to be the real guy that can take and hit threes. Jordan Walsh was this athletic defender, which he's definitely has been. His shooting has surprised us. Ugo's shot wasn't supposed to come around to like 2028. So like it's just like he has exceeded all expectations with his floor. He's still not. I don't think he's gonna shoot this percentage his whole career. But the fact that we're getting this from him early is just insane. And then Josh Minot turned into a sniper. You know what I'm saying? So, but like Shaman, we drafted him to shoot the ball. Like, of course, we saw him passing the ball, we saw him rebounding, but like Shaman was supposed to be that guy that shot. He shot 38% in 5 years in college. Like, this is a guy that was supposed to be the shooter. So, in the playoffs, where teams can scheme for guys that may not be great shooters, you know what I'm saying? And I don't expect all three of those guys to shoot 40% from three in the playoffs. Because if they do, we might be having a different conversation. But I don't expect that to happen. So I think Shaman has the best shooting pedigree in that group. Now, he doesn't give you the defense that those guys do, even though he's been very impressive defensively. Very impressive defensively. I did not think he was going to be this good defensively in his first 2 years. And Joe seems to trust him on that end too, because he gives them the assignment, he gives them like the things to do on that end. So that's cool. If he can shoot the ball well and continue to play the defense that he has been, I think he can really help us. So that goes along with Ugo, Walsh, and not of course, but if he can have that confidence that he ended last season with, especially shooting the ball, I think that could really help us.
Looking at the Celtics roster, and sorting by 3-point percentage is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
It's just everybody that you didn't know what to think about him. Garza, best 3-point shooter on the team,
oh Lord.
45.5%.
See,
One and a half attempts a game, not a high volume. Walsh, 45%. Minot, 44%. Baylor, 41%. Ugo, 38%. These are the top shooters on the team
yeah,
in terms of percentage. Like, if you told me this in August, I would have been incredulous. I would have said, no way. And here we are, like, I don't know, like 35% through the season, and nobody's really fallen off a cliff. You're seeing like weird minute fluctuations, but when they're out there, like they still make their shots when they're given to them. Like even Walsh yesterday only played 12, 13 minutes, still made a three. Pretty good.
yeah.
Can't complain. Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with Shireman. I think you made a good case for why his 3-point shot feels the realest of the bunch, because it's true. Like when you think about Walsh and Minot, you're like, wow, they're making a lot of threes, but you're like kind of surprised. You look at Minot shoot the ball, you're a little confused on how it's finding the bottom of the net so consistently. Garza shoots like Al Horford, so I'm not that surprised. Like when he takes a jumper, all I see is Al shooting it. But the track record of Shireman as somebody who's through college been a good 3-point shooter, something that people use often to talk about different shooters, like somebody like Hauser, who's never shot below 40% like through college, or I think, well, high school is like a different thing. Like you're playing against me and the boys out there, but never has wavered there. It is a testament to how elite of a shooter he is. So it's a good argument there by you. But yeah, good little draft here going into 2026. Pretty impressed with that. Great segment.
Thank you for that, brother.
Oh, well, you delivered. No preparation, no heads up. Just came
No
in
preparation,
ready to draft.
No preparation, but it was good.
Next up, Jaylen Brown playing out of his mind this season. It's been no secret. Us around here, we know all about it. Nationally, people might know about it, but they don't really want to talk about it, according to Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce on the No Fouls Given podcast basically said people don't want to talk about Jaylen Brown as an MVP candidate because they hate the Celtics nationally. And I feel like people definitely don't like the Celtics on a national scale. A lot of success here. The fans are very holier than thou, I think, when it comes to talking about basketball. Kind of deservedly so. A lot of championships, a lot of winning, a lot of ball knowledge up in this point of the country. But it's really hard to talk about the MVP stuff. And the MVP conversation for years has been the bane of my existence, because the MVP conversation is usually fake. When we're talking about a guy that deserves to be in the conversation, he's not going to be the MVP. He's not. That's just not how it works. It's the guy who probably is going to win the MVP, and then somebody who could maybe take over. And that's usually it. But now, with this rule of durability and you have to play 65 games, the MVP conversation is actually somewhat legitimate now. You have Jokic, who just hyperextended his knees and missed 4 weeks. You won't see him play at the Garden on January 7th anymore. Luka has missed 8 games so far. He can only miss, I think, 9 more?
Yeah, 9 more, yeah.
Giannis has missed a ton of time. Like, all of these guys towards the top are slowly taking their PTO days a little early in the season, and they only have so many left to burn before it starts affecting their award eligibility. But Jaylen, I think he does deserve to kind of be peeking his head around the corners. Should be on the first team All-NBA because of the increase in shots he's had, the increased attention from defense he's had, and he's taking a career high in shots, career high in field goal percentage. Like, how often does that really happen? Probably not that often.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. We kind of had that conversation about first team All NBA, where hey, a lot of these guys who were on this team last year either have been hurt, aren't playing the same, or just won't meet the requirements. And I had this conversation with one of my friends. They were like, damn, Nikola Jokic out for 4 weeks. I think he was the MVP if he would have, stay healthy. Hopefully he can come back. and not miss 17 games. But they were like, damn, so this means Shea run away with MVP. And like we were trying to figure out like who else. They were like, maybe if Cade does this, and I was like, maybe if the Celtics get the 2 seed, you could think of Mr. Brown. So I don't know. It it would take a lot for somebody to overthrow Shea, especially with how good the Thunder have been, how good he's still currently playing. Just like Nikola Jokic was just on a different level. Like they were out 3 starters and like he's dropping 50-point trip dubs. So it's just like not really much you can do about that. But if he misses 17 games, that 2 to 3 spot is gonna be really interesting. To see like who like rivals Shea. And if the NBA will actually think that any of those guys are like their play is really worthy of a real conversation. It's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be really interesting because Shea's obviously the favorite now, with Jokic being out at least 4 weeks, which is just reevaluation. So that sucks. I don't know, man. We really gonna have to see. And with the way that Jamal Murray has been playing, imagine if he like keeps his team afloat and like, he's just like dogging. I'm not saying he's going MVP, but it's like that opens the door for a lot of people. So I'm very interested to see what this MVP race turns out to be.
Yeah, Jaylen right now. I mean, looking at the numbers of these guys, Luka's missed time. Shea has missed 1 single game, so he has a long way to go before he gets knocked off of this. Maxey hasn't missed much time. Jokic hasn't missed hardly any time to this point. Mitchell's played a lot of games. Jaylen has played mostly every game. Brunson has played mostly every game. Then you get to Ant, Steph Curry, who are also in the top 10 in scoring. Those guys have missed a little bit more time. But Shea's numbers are like jaw-droppingly good. He's like a point percentage away from 56% from the field and 42% from 3 as somebody who takes his fair doses of jump shots. Like that's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
The efficiency he has played with, granted, the talent on that team makes it so defenses have to kind of decide whether they want to live with him getting his looks or they would rather send help and leave somebody else open. But he has a pretty strong resume to make a run at it. Luka, his efficiency isn't quite there. He's like 46% from the field and 32% from 3. Like those aren't impressive shooting numbers, but he does more than just score with his playmaking and stuff like that. Jokic is always unbelievable. But like Jaylen is probably the 4th best guy. Mitchell and Maxey are pretty close. You could make the argument for like all of them, but those guys all seem to be at the same level, while Shea and Jokic are a little bit of a step above. So it would be a very strong uphill battle for Jaylen to end up with the MVP award. Somebody would have to miss significant time. Multiple guys would actually have to miss significant time. And then we would have to hear about how it's like a Mickey Mouse MVP.
I'm going to whisper this. What if Kawhi keeps this up?
Let me see if I can find
his last.
You got it. Perfect.
His last 5 games, 38 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block and a half. And they're 5-0. Now, to average 38, whatever I just said for the rest of the way would be insane. But what if it was like 30 and 7 rebounds and 4 assists? And bro, 3 steals and a block and a half in a 5-game span. Like what are we talking about right now? So, and if they get like, if they're firmly in the playoffs when this is over, like top 5 seed, like I'm rooting for him because I don't want that pick to go to OKC. I'm rooting for Kawhi. Except for when he play us in a couple of days. But like other than that, I'm Kawhi. Yes, please, brother. Please do this. So, that's a super duper long shot. But Shea, like, dog, 56, 42, 89. What the fuck is that, bro? That like, that's just stupid. So, bro, if he can get 50, 40, 90 shooting 56%, like, you can just hand him the war. I don't. It is what it is, brother. I don't care. But it's some great players in this league, even with guys that are hurt. Shea, again, like you said, is having a ridiculous year. Max, he's averaging 30. You know what I'm saying? So it's just Cade's a top seed in the Eastern Conference. So just imagine if he picks up his play slightly after the All-Star break, it would become even harder. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, Cade is somebody I should not have omitted. He's been unbelievable this year. Just a whole new level of play from him. The Kawhi thing, yeah, like we'll all give him the MVP. Like if you prevent OKC from getting a top 5 pick and you rescue the Clippers and you get in the playoffs and you make that draft pick not as worth hardly anything, yeah, like you have my respect. Right now, I guess we can kind of transition to the standings talk this way. As of now,
segue.
The Clippers are. Go ahead, Sam. You got it. The Clippers are 60.5 games back of the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is a gap that there's no shot that they're going to eclipse. Nah. It's not going to happen. They are 2.5 games back of the 10-seeded Portland Trailblazers, who are very much within range of being caught here. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the Clippers can sneak into the play-in. They're only 5 games back of the Warriors, who are the worst above 500 team in the Western Conference right now. They truly do have a path out of this abyss that they put themselves in to start the season. They've won 5 straight. And you mentioned it, Kawhi has kind of taken his game to another level. He wasn't really healthy to start the season. He missed some time here and there. I know he didn't play against the Celtics when they came to the Garden last month. They have seemingly found something there at the Intuit Dome.
Yep, I thought I was muted. No, I actually wasn't. So there we go. Good.
Now you're paranoid.
How the turns of table. Yeah, no, but just man. It's the Western Conference is still a bloodbath. I hate this. I think Denver's gonna fall, man. I don't want them to fall, but they're down 4 starters. It's just super hard to keep that when you're down that many players. So hoping Nikola Jokic can come back healthy. But yeah, OKC, San Antonio, Denver, Houston, Lakers. Like the first round in the Western Conference is always like a movie, because like in the Eastern Conference, you're usually gonna get like a 1-8 matchup that you don't really love. But like this year, like the Cavs could be the AFC, so maybe. But like the Western Conference is never like, oh shit, this can be a sleeper round. No, that everybody has a chance, right? But yeah, man, we'll just have to see. Like the Trailblazers have been sliding ever since Drew's injury. The Grizzlies have shot up in the standings. They had a great game against the 76ers last night, where VJ hit a game-winning 3. Ja Morant looked as good as he's ever looked like these past 2 years. So that was cool to see. The Suns, first-time head coach Jordan Ott has really gotten a lot out of those guys. They've gotten guys that like on like a redemption type tour. Like Dylan Brooks was let go by the Grizzlies. Then he was traded to them, and he's playing great. Mark Williams, who was going to be traded to the Lakers, they're like, yeah, you're not healthy enough. And they rescinded the trade, and he's like, wait, I am healthy. And now he's playing at a high level. So it's just it's just great to see these teams actually be good. I think the Mavericks are better than 12 and 22, especially when everyone's healthy. But of course, you just have to assume that certain players on their team aren't going to be healthy. But they still haven't had Kyrie Irving at all. So if that gets entered into the equation, we don't know how good they will be. So the Western Conference is always very interesting.
If you look at the point differential right now, Clippers are 10th best. So they're kind of making their presence felt. They're bringing themselves a little bit closer to the rest of the pack, and there's definitely some hope that they can get it together to start the season, or as the season goes on, rather. In the East, a lot of the same: Pistons, Knicks, Celtics, Raptors, Sixers, Magic, Heat, Cavs, Bulls, Hawks. From a Celtics perspective, you are pulling away from some of the lesser teams now. They're 2.5 games above the 5th seed. Feels like that's been the biggest gap they've had between themselves in the middle of the pack in a while. They're also climbing slightly closer to the Pistons in first place. The Knicks are only a game and a half back of Detroit now, after Detroit had a sizable lead over everybody else. Raptors are kind of back with RJ Barrett back, so that kind of proves that without him, that was the reason why they were dropping games. Now that he's back,
He's
they
MVP.
are a little bit. Yeah, he's the MVP.
He's MVP.
They are much more legitimate. Philly, Embiid has kind of gotten his head out of his ass here. He's averaging big numbers over the last couple games, but defensively, he's still not quite the player that they would like him to be. He probably falls closer to the Nurkic category than somebody who's legitimately impactful as a defender, which might be a little bit mean, but physically he's pretty limited. And then the play-in invitational is exactly what we thought it would be: Miami, Cleveland, Chicago, Atlanta. Milwaukee, still bad, 1-2 in a row. And then the bottom of the East is bad, even though Charlotte is playing Golden State right now as we're recording this. And the score is
that's how
Warriors up by 15. So
okay, well, never mind. There we go. Steph Curry at home on New Year's Eve, so it's good. But yeah, no, the 76ers have been Embiid's averaging 31, 8 and 3 in his last 5 games. So you were right. And 31 points, 32 minutes. So he's back to that type of stuff. And they're 2 and 3 in that stretch though. But the 76ers have done a great job at like finding guys. They've turned Drummond into a fucking shooter. I've seen.
Isn't he shooting like 40%? You keep talking. I'm gonna pull him up.
I seen Adem Bona hit like 2 threes, bro. Like, I think Drummond, Bona, all of them are like they've hit threes this season.
Andre is shooting 39.5% on 1.3 attempts a game.
Not a lot of attempts, but if you go from somebody that like, okay, what is he shooting from the free throw line?
63.
That has to be a career high. Has to be.
His career average is 48.7. Drummond's previous career high from the free throw line last year, he was 62%. So it's been an upward trend.
Yeah, so he's improving.
Yeah, he had some really bad years to start his career. He shot 60% in 2018. And then he's kind of hovered in the 50s and 60s since then. But this is his career high. He's never shot better from the free throw line.
Right. So somehow, somewhere, they're getting these bigs to shoot threes. Like Adem Bona, like I don't know what he's shooting from 3 this year, but I've seen him. He's shooting 40% from 3. Well, okay, he's not taking any. Like he's probably taking like 10 threes. Okay, he's taking 5 threes. But like, if you go to like from the player I saw at UCLA, he probably did not even attempt a 3. Like they're turning them into guys that can potentially hit shots, which is enough. Like Drummond was never a guy that was supposed to be able to stretch the floor at any capacity. Adem is a guy that was never supposed to be able to stretch the floor at any capacity, right? So they've done a good job of getting these like two-way guys. Like Dominic Barlow has been pretty good for them. Jabari Walker, when he was healthy, has been cool for them. So they're finding these like diamond in the rough type of guys, and they've been succeeding at that. They got a great win last night. As I said, they drafted a great rookie. Justin Edwards is an undrafted player that couldn't even miss against the Celtics in that one game. I remember that. That was crazy. But yeah, they've done a nice job with this roster, like with Embiid's like health never really being there, with Paul George's health never really being there. They've transitioned into like, all right, Tyrese Maxey, you can kind of be the guy here, and we'll put the pieces wherever we see fit, and they've been doing a pretty solid job. So to see them fifth in the conference with all the injuries that they've had, it's kind of impressive. That's all the love I'll give them. Because
well, even like if you want to talk about impressive, to put together a team with like a moderate amount of depth when you're paying Paul George like $50 million a season to just hang out and do a podcast, even though he stopped doing it because everyone was bullying him online. It's super impressive for them to be that effective at finding the guys, as you said. You also low-key have them in like a little bit of a 3-point university where they're teaching guys to shoot the ball, which is just kind of like what the Celtics used to do. Aaron Baines all of a sudden became a sniper when he was here, that kind of thing. I kind of felt like they'd be decent this year. I believed a little bit more than everybody else did. So we'll see as it goes on. Atlanta now losers of 7 straight.
Oh God, Jesus! All right, yeah. Coincidence? Maybe
there's not. A flashpoint for the 7 straight losses. Something happened.
So something happened 7 games ago. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes too. With talk about trades, we'll have to see where that goes.
I just don't quite know what to think about it. Like, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but we did have reports. I forget where they even came from, so I don't want to take all of this with a grain of salt. I don't feel like going to find the source. Somebody was saying that players don't like to play with him. Like an anonymous executive said that. And I feel like this isn't the first time we've heard this. Like, he went at Pat Bev over the summer, I think, because Pat Bev said something very similar to this. And when there's smoke, there's fire. It would make sense. Feels like he has the ball in his hand a lot. Doesn't really give you a whole lot of help on defense. Like, just as somebody who plays basketball, like, if I was playing pickup, I wouldn't want to play with somebody that isn't really helping you win games on either end of the floor and takes away a lot of the fun parts of playing. Granted, if you're in the NBA, you're not really in it for fun all the time, but regardless, it's going to be annoying. We'll have to see where he ends up. One thing I sent you in the DM was, if they did end up trading him for AD, it would be pretty funny that the draft night Luka trade essentially got undone by this Luka trade.
Like, you just be in Dallas now.
Yeah. Anyways, we can move on from the standings. There's a little wrap up there. Ratless Nick, do you have anything that stands out to you? Anything that's upset you in the last couple of days? I did have one in the pregame comments yesterday, I believe, that was right along the lines of what you said. Somebody was in Washington State and they were like, Utah is in the blackout zone for NBA League Pass. So just one of your sworn enemies making an appearance once again.
Blackouts. Yeah, I don't really have them, man. I'm going into a great day where we have basketball all day. We got some college football. We got Stranger Things at 8 p.m. So I'm cool, man. I'm cool right now.
Sorry, my AirPods are dying in the middle. I'm like doing a juggling act with them. Sorry about that. One moment. AirPods are fixed. Almost hit the reset button on the recording an hour in.
Jesus.
That would have been something else. Yeah, college football, I'm excited. I do love me some college football, playoff games, bowl games all day. I will rat list on Monday. Played some pickup basketball, going for a loose ball. Caught an elbow to like the 2 front teeth and also my lip. So I'm kind of dealing with the leftover effects of like the stinging cut on the inside of my lip. So it's been a little annoying thing to adjust to, especially this time of year when like I feel like my lips are always at more jeopardy because of the cold. Just I'm battling such a tough battle. Extra work, you know what I mean?
That's funny. That's fucking funny. I get that. That's funny. But no, never want to get cold elbows. Any elbows in basketball are just bad. So yes, and the lip area is very tough to like cuts on your mouth area is like fucking brutal. So
there's so many foods you all of a sudden like can't enjoy. Like you have like a pizza with a cut in your mouth, like the tomato sauce will like fuck with your thing. It'll sting.
Everything like plastic and ice cream will hurt. Like everything. Just like nah. But like nah, it's just having a cut in your lip. Like it's so crazy. Like when you like injure. Oh shit! If you like injure a like small part on you, and you're like, and you never really like understood how important that body part was. Like you're like, oh shit, I needed this for everything, and it's just like it doesn't. Like I think I had never had like calf problems, right? I've never like had a calf injury or anything like that. One day I got up and like my calf was just fucking hurting, bro. And
Was it
like
like a cramp or like it was
no, it just my shit just started hurting, bro. And because I had worked out the day before that, right? But I didn't even do like leg specific things. And
Okay.
I got up and I was like, oh, my calf just started hurting. And I'm like, damn, I really need this thing. Like, I knew calves were
really need
important.
this thing.
Like, I knew calves were important, but it's like I like legitimately couldn't walk. Like I had to walk on my other, like it was just fucking crazy, bro. So take care of your body, man.
The NBA has taught you nothing? You haven't learned anything about the importance of calf muscles and what they're connected to?
I just haven't had that experience, man. I had to be thrown into the fire in order to learn and appreciate. So there you go.
How old are you?
23.
So you're like at the age where things start to happen.
Yeah.
Because when I was that age, like I'm 27 now. When I was that age, I was running like a maniac. I would run like almost 8 miles, like 5 of the 7 days in a week, and I would never miss. Like if I remember vividly like running with calf, like just it was tired or hurt or something, and I would just push through like whatever it was. And then I started to have like tendonitis in my knee, and that like had me shook because as somebody who watches sports, when you think of knee issues, the only thing you're like is I tore my ACL, my meniscus is fucked. Like the only thing that you think of is the diagnosis some athlete gets. And me, I'm like, well, nothing happened to me. I didn't bang it on anything. It was a non-contact injury. This is scary. So now, like, I got to stretch for like 15 minutes before I start doing anything now. Like, sometimes it'll take me longer to get ready to go for a run than it does for me to actually complete the thing. Like, that is what getting old is. So it's a very sad reality we all live.
I don't want to talk about knee problems at all because I've had oh my god. When I was young, I had like I tore my patella in the fifth grade, bro.
How do you do that?
Playing basketball.
Really?
Everybody does. Like I fucking fractured my kneecap. I like have had so many knee injuries, bro. Not so many, but I've had like big knee injuries. Like I could like bro, having a cast on your leg in 5th grade and just watching other kids play, like what that is fucking brutal, bro. Like and then it was the summertime, bro. It was the summertime, bro.
And
like
it's hot. And you can't do anything. You can't go swimming.
School's ending. Like, and like when you're in like the 5th grade, like towards the end of the school year, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. Like everybody's just outside playing the whole day. Teachers are like, yeah, let's just go outside. Everybody's like, yeah, let's go outside. And I'm just like, sure. Sitting on the bench. I'm like, it got to a point where I couldn't like not play. But I was like, fuck this. I'm not just gonna sit here. So my friends allowed me to stay on one spot of the court. Like as they played, I got a couple steals. I was hit a couple shots, but like it just wasn't that shit wasn't it, bro. So I could probably use the excuse of like if I didn't get injured, I could have been, you know what I'm saying? But we'll know. But yeah,
that is the first thing that I thought of. Is I was like, well, Nick can be I would have made the league.
I would have made the league
if I didn't tear my patella in the 5th grade guy.
And then also, I was gonna try out for my college team, but then that was fucking COVID, bro. So I got 2 instances where my chances of going to the league was fucked up, bro. So if you want to
go to college, where'd you go to college?
I go to
are you still there? Yeah.
Norfolk State University. So
okay.
I didn't think I was gonna make it, but like fuck it, man. At least I can be like well, they don't have practice squads. Well, no, yeah, they have practice teams in a college too. So I was like, maybe I can be a practice team, motherfucker. They was like, yep, we're not doing any of that because COVID. So I, with no evidence at all, I could have made the league, bro. If things panned out the way it was supposed to, bro. So with no
I had
evidence.
a moment. I don't know if I was talking to you about this. I might have said on the show to Jack. And if you're listening to this and I already told this story, I apologize. I play regular like pickup runs with same group of people like multiple times a week, and like wide ranging ages at these pickup runs. Like these kids that I play with just came out of high school, like they're like 19, 20. And then we got dudes that are like 45. So it's pretty like well diverse group in terms of that. And I was talking to some of these kids because I went to the same high school as them, but like 10 years ago or 9 years ago now. And they were talking to me about like basketball and stuff. And they were talking about playing middle school basketball. And when I was in middle school, we didn't have teams yet. Like we only had 2 grades in our middle school. They had 3 middle schools in our city. They consolidated down to 2, made it 3 grades. And then they started putting together like middle school sports. It was a whole thing, whatever. And I was like, whoa, that's so wild. You guys had middle school sports. And then they said, yeah, we had it, but we lost a year of COVID. And I was like, you guys were in middle school during COVID? Like, that was my reaction. I was like, what?
Hey, yo,
like,
what the fuck?
I was in my junior year of college. Like, I was like an adult already. I can't believe you guys were kids during that. Like,
well, yeah, bro, holy shit. Do you know how fucked up having COVID was as a 12th grader, bro? Dog.
You had it? Or you
No, yes.
Your senior year was canceled
COVID
basically by COVID.
Yes. So, bro, listen. I'm so glad. All right, so I play basketball and baseball, right? Those are my 2 sports.
Okay.
Thankfully, basketball season was already over. Like we had already had that. Cool. Our baseball team got like 2 transfers. We practicing every day. We like good. Like everybody like, hey, bro, we could probably do something. Man, we like I remember the progression of us talking about COVID as like the practices will go on. It's like, man, this shit, we ain't worry about no COVID. We ain't worry about that. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, oh my God, it's in Virginia. Then it's like, all right, kids, we're gonna take a week off of school. And we never fucking came back.
Yep.
And it was just no prom. I couldn't, like, bro, I had prom already set up. Luckily, I didn't buy luckily I did purchase my like suit and everything.
Yeah.
Like I had to planned out everything planned out already, bro. Everything planned out already. I was gonna have a hotel party. Everybody was gonna be in there. It was gonna look sweet. We ain't had that. I ain't had no graduation. You know what I'm saying? Like having that in 12th grade was so ass, bro. So ass. Now, I didn't have to take a lot of tests that I would have had to, so that helps. But like, dude, oh my God, I missed out on so much, and then it carried into college, bro. So it's just, but yeah, middle school that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that people were going through that as 12-year-olds.
Going through COVID, like at our age, like I wasn't much older than you. I was like a couple of years, but like we're all stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, like the first time you hear about this, you're just like, oh, it's like another thing. Like
Yeah,
you hear about things
over
all
there.
the time.
Yeah.
And then like I remember listening to the radio and they had Mike Gorman on the radio and he was talking about it and he was like, I think this might like really affect things more than everyone thinks. And like I remember just being like, I don't know, like
Yeah,
the
listen to Mike
season
Gorman,
to get
man.
canceled. And I was like, there's no way the NBA would cancel the season. And of course, like there's the Rudy thing, he touches all the mics. And then it just completely collapses. And the NBA, to be honest with you, the NBA was like when everything was like, okay, this is real. Well, you gotta panic. Like,
yeah, yes, that's when, yes, because bro, they shut the season down, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do without basketball, bro? Like, in the shutdown in the middle of the season, and then was that around the time that Kobe passed?
Kobe had passed away like a month or 2 in advance. He passed away in January, and that happened in March.
And then that's when everybody I was like, man, ever since Kobe passed, well, shit just hit the fan, bro. So yeah, like that was a crazy ass time period, bro. It was so yeah.
I remember
I'm glad
going for spring break from college, and then like we just never went back. And I have the most Mickey Mouse college degree ever because like all of my tests were
yeah.
online, all my exams were online, all of my stuff was pass fail. Like there was like a stretch there where I didn't log on to the online portal for like 3 weeks to see if I had assignments. It was crazy what we were getting degrees with during COVID.
It was, man, it was a crazy ass time, bro. It really was.
Well, on that happy note, we can wrap it up there. Fun show today. Nick, thank you again for being such a big part of the show this season. We've appreciated it very much. Tell the people where to find you.
Find me on Twitter, Nick NBA YT, Nick NBA on YouTube. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers, man. Let me look at the exact number. Let me see how many fake accounts people have to make to get me there. Of course, I need 4 fake accounts. I need 4 fake accounts. I need 4. So if you can make a fake account, or if you haven't subscribed already, I need 4 more people to make this dream come true. So Nick NBA on YouTube, Nick NBA YT on Twitter. That's about it.
I'll tell you what, if you're making fake accounts, subscribe here too. We're here every day.
How about them C's, man? How about them C's?
Pods.
Subscribe everybody.
Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find Jack and I or Nick. Nick has been here a lot, so if you like Nick, he's here quite often on the pregame live, half hour before every single game. It's been a lot of fun this season. We're bringing in special guests along with Nick. It's been a good time. Be on the lookout. We're on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow them, go right to your feed, leave a 5-star review. Would appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading them every single time we do the show. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are to How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter, Jack's One NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Check Taco. Come on.
Taco's having some fun here.